Hi, John Wilkinson here and History Made Easier. Thanks for tuning in to the channel. This video is going to take a look at appeasement, and it's going to put it into a wider historical context. It will be of use to IGCSE students because I'm going to use different issues in your course for that context. But it may also be of interest to IB students, especially if you're looking at the causes of World War II. So, appeasement. Appeasement is essentially about whether to get involved or not. And that's something we look at over and over again throughout the IGCSE course. I'm going to begin in 1945 with the conferences at Yalta and at Potsdam. The West had to decide whether to stand up to Stalin or not. They knew what was going on in Eastern Europe, certainly by the Potsdam Conference. And they knew that any decision they made to stand up to Stalin would most likely lead to war. But we have to think about the rest of the history of the Cold War and the plight of those millions and millions and millions of Europeans in Eastern Europe. It was a tough decision, but they decided not to stand up to Stalin. In 1949 and the Berlin blockade, they did stand up to him, and there was a risk of war then. In 1950, they stood up to communism in Korea, and they went to war. Okay, using the United Nations as a flag of convenience, if you like, but they went to war. Were they right or not? In Hungary in 1956, although there were promises to support the Hungarians, they backed away. They didn't get involved. The Berlin Wall in 1961, again, they did stand up to the communists. They refused to leave West Berlin. The Gulf of Tonkin incident in 1964 led America to get increasingly and directly involved in fighting the Viet Cong in Vietnam. And what a mess they made of that. Czechoslovakia in 1968, again, they decide to back away. They do not get involved and support the Czechs fighting for their freedom. Communism with a human face. Then we come to more modern times and we look at the two Gulf Wars in 1990 and in 2003. 1990, Saddam Hussein invades Kuwait and the West get involved. But you know, Kuwait was not one of the most democratic of regimes. And then in 2003, they again get involved. But did anybody find any weapons of mass destruction? No. So I think we can see that these are tough decisions. Let's be fair to the politicians. They're damned if they get involved, they're damned if they don't. They are tough decisions. Arguments whether we should get involved, well, there is the issue of right versus wrong. There is the issue of standing up for what you believe in. And there is the matter of protecting the weak. So there are arguments for getting involved. But there are arguments for not. First, the risk of lives. Always the risk of lives. There's the danger of a wider conflict, turning it into a much bigger war. And there is the matter of, well, is this any of our business? So, we have appeasement in a wider context. I hope that was interesting for you. I hope that was useful for you. As always, I say at this point, do take a look at my website, History Made Easier. I have lots of short pieces on the different topics on your course, and if there's anything missing that you want added, please get in touch with me. But as always, at this point, I say thank you for listening. Cheers.